that video because it sort of gave me motivation to keep the like I don't script as much as I would like to, but that just motivated me on a whole nother level. And I just recently went to Dallas and went to this Pan African bookstore and bought this beautiful new journal. So that is gonna be my scripting journal, and I can't wait to start because I'm gonna start doing it. That just sort of like gave me so much encouragement to go ahead and get it started, and going off of the feeling vibes that makes so much sense. It's definitely in alignment with what we've been talking about and what you share. Ah, GPS, be quiet. What you always share about one of the most important ways of manifesting is not to really so much focus on the material thing, the actual thing that you're trying to work on, but GPS, be quiet. What that thing will actually bring to you, the feelings. And so I appreciate love that. And so yes.
Yes, give thanks. Give thanks. That's very important because we're remembering now Abraham Hicks, her level of work is good for a certain vibration when it comes to helping us really get the best out of this human experience. But let us never forget, the deeper truth about it all, which is that we have God is indwelling within us, right? God is indwelling within us, and it moves and create being through our emotions, our thoughts, our words. Period. There is no right and wrong. It is just creation. Now, if you have your mind set on something that's pessimistic or what we consider to be negative thoughts and those type of things, it's gonna manifest that in your experience. But it's still God at work. So we give thanks to the Almighty. That just puts you in the driver's seat to be a better governor and authority over your own mind, your own feelings, and value your feelings and your mind. And what does that do? That reminds you that your thoughts are very important for you to govern. You really don't have room to be a sloppy thinker if you desire to reside in heaven here on earth. You don't have the room. Sometimes allowing ourselves to kind of go off the deep end and start thinking negative and let our mind spin out of control is our comfort zone. But we have to become uncomfortable so that we can get into some pure, true, divine comfort. And it's so worth it once you start really practicing it. So if you are on the line and you find yourself really having a hard time governing your thoughts, dedicate yourself today. Dedicate yourself today for 30 days. 30 days. We ain't started with 10. We ain't started with 21. We're going to start with 30 days. Consciously, consistently, adamantly govern your thoughts. I say govern your thoughts. Govern the way you think about things. I don't care what is going on. Challenge yourself to think about it in a higher light. And if you cannot, challenge yourself to take your mind off of it. Let's do that for 30 days. What is today? Today is the 14th, 15th, 16th. From 30 days from now, we're going to start with just 30 days. Okay? Govern your thoughts. Be a better governor. Remember, we started with our studies on the mind, and we started with the 12 centers of power. Go back and study. What is faith? What is strength? What is power? O ye of little faith. Strengthen your faith. Strengthen your power. Strengthen your divine will, and let it be the will of the Creator. Let us be reflections of the Creator. There is no doubt, fear, limitation, disappointment, all of those different things when we're talking about God, what we call God, or Source, or Mother, Father, Creator, or Allah. There is no limit. There are no limitations. So let us take 30 days to really govern our mind. Before we get started, because we do have a special guest tonight, and she is on. I'm going to bring her up in a second and introduce her. Y'all may see her on the line. Sister Soraya, scripting Soraya. I love Soraya. I'm going to introduce her in a second, but before I do, I want to take the time because I do see some new names and faces on the line. So you still have the capacity to unmute your phone. I want 2 people. If I can get 2 people, 2 different people, I'm like the teacher, they'd be like, okay, 2 different people this time to welcome the tribe members. Also, let them know what inspired you to join the tribe, gain membership to Oyun Ministries, and give them maybe some insight on how to best how you have taken full advantage of the membership. Don't all do it at one time. 2 people. Y'all gonna make me call names out? Don't make me do it. Okay, I hear.
Hello.
Go for it.
Hi, this is Artavia. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I haven't been part. Welcome to the new members. I am a newer member. This is like maybe my third meeting, I think. I joined because I usually join on a mood meditation, and I knew I had the what spirit led me to realize that I was in search of a regular routine to grow my consciousness, to grow my relationship with God and my spirituality. Because that's why I joined the tribe, something weekly, and to actually help me study in ways and learn in ways that I'm not currently studying and learning.
Shay, can you give them some insight on how they can best take advantage of the membership?
The best take advantage of the membership is for me is to be on the line. I like to be on live if I can. And then also I listen to it afterwards. Like while I'm on live, I don't take any notes. I just listen. Unless something that jumps out at me, I might write it down. Even though I have my pencil in my notebook here. But then I go back and I listen to the replay, and that's when I take my notes, and that's where I start going back and researching some of the subjects we talked on. We
Beautiful,
spoke
beautiful
about.
advice. Beautiful advice. And lastly, any impact that you have found since you have joined the tribe? Since you have joined the tribe.
It has helped me answer some of my questions. For example, in moon meditation, we did scripting before, so I've done scripting before. However, this for the video you said this morning, this to this video, I noticed that my feelings don't always be in there, and I had to get out of my own way and be gentle with myself because now I'm critiquing my word usage, and things like that. Is instead of letting my intuition and the divine and the spirit lead me to writing and lead me to write the feelings that I want, not just the what I wanted. For example, I scripted about a new job. That's a great job, right? But my manager had low emotional intelligence. And so I liked the job, but I couldn't stay there for the simple fact is that hey, I couldn't keep working with her. And I told myself I'm gonna quit within a certain time, right? They laid me off. That was even better. And so I didn't have to have that long conversation with my husband. So in saying that, learning now that it had to be a feeling associated with it and more intention and a little bit more detail, not just top level stuff. It's not for me. I work in finance. I'm always nervous and analytical. I have to step back from that, just let my intuition lead me and let the divine lead me. So that's one of the things I'm learning to do.
Yes, thank you, Artavia. Thank you so much. Very helpful, very insightful. I love it. And sometimes just listening to her example, sometimes we know what we desire, and we have a picture of how that is because we feel like we're so intelligent. Oh, we know it all. We got it all figured out. In order for this to work out, this is what's going to have to happen. I'm going to clock it out. This is do. Okay, that's the vision. That's what we're asking for. And then when it starts to not unfold in that way, we start to doubt and fear. So I always say, we can script, we can visualize all those different things. Be very careful not to get attached to even the vision of it. Don't get attached to it because God can work in mysterious ways. Like she said, she was nervous about having a conversation a lot, but know that she wanted. Okay, well, let me tell you something. The way the creator work, it can work it out all on your behalf. So it works out in ways that you could have never dreamed of. You could have never dreamed of. So don't get attached to the vision. Thank you for sharing. DeAndre, I see your hand up. I wonder, is it up so that you can share?
Yes, I was gonna jump
Okay,
in and
go for it.
volunteer.
Go for it.
So for me, and I don't think I'm new anymore. It's been a few months, but I still feel new because I feel like every coaching session is a new lesson, something I learned again or relearned and didn't know I knew before, but inside knew it. And so I think that was part of the motivation for me in joining the tribe is that I feel like as a kid, I used to joke around all the time and say, I get whatever I want. But I truly did, as a kid, get whatever I want. And I realized it's because there was a lot less resistance in life as a kid than as an adult. And I wanted to kind of get back to that inner power and inner understanding. And so I looked for a community that would help me find myself. And that's what the tribe has been for me.
Ashay, Ashay. Do you have any advice or tips on how they can fully take advantage of the membership?
Yeah, so definitely just be a part of the GroupMe app. And I don't talk as much in the app, but I read all of the messages, I play the videos. And so I try to be present in that sense. And then the coaching, the like one-on-one coaching with Queen Yen is everything. So sometimes after we do a session as a group and I find I need clarity on something or something just really resonated and it's been like sitting with me in spirit and I feel like I need to talk about it, having those one-on-one coaching sessions really provide clarity. And the tarot readings, I love those too. Like a little check-in, make sure I'm on the right path.
Yes, yes, truly. Thank you for mentioning that. Thank you,
Yes.
Leandra, for sharing. Do be reminded as members, you have discounted, you have a privilege to get discount services. And if there's any courses or classes that come out, you also get access to those at a discounted rate. So take advantage of it. That's one of that perk was very intentional because I do encourage one-on-ones because yes, we can do these group sessions that resonate greatly and can greatly impact your life. But there are certain things, specific things in your life that you want to work on. And, especially when you take the opportunity, I think I have at least 15, 16 of you all doing the empowerment or transformational package. That is something powerful where you do consecutive sessions. We're working on specific things. We're checking in with each other. I'm definitely holding you accountable. I pray that I am not too hard on you, but I'm going to go hard if I need to because we got to push each other, because it's enough. We've had enough of living lowly, like mere humble humans. We are spiritual beings. We are children of God. So thus, we should be a reflection of what people call our father or mother. We should be, if we are children of God, we should be a reflection of that. We should be a reflection of that greatness. So definitely take advantage of that. I'm going to take one more.
Oh, can
Um,
I add to that too? Just
yes,
and
please.
another piece of advice is like really utilizing the space created is just to be transparent. So I find on these group sessions, the more transparent I am and not worrying about like how my comments may be received or if it seems like, I'm not on the right path, it really helps because like the last session, I felt like I was very transparent about my relationship with meditation and then I got read that session and it's what I needed in order to get back on track. So sometimes those like gut checks are exactly what you need. Like when your mama sits you down, like I taught you better than that, right? So sometimes you need those moments, and so it's important to be transparent, so you can get the help you need here. That's what the
I
group is
say,
for.
I love you, DeAndre. You know I
Yes, it was great.
do.
I loved it. I loved it.
Yes. I'm like your sister. That's my vibe. Yeah, it comes through the screen. And if you meet me in person, or when you meet me in person, it's gonna be the same vibe. I'm your sister, and never am I gonna let you go out like that. If it's a way that I can be able to push you, and sometimes we need that push. It just is what it is. Sometimes I need the push. It just is what it is. Um, so we're gonna take one more. Kilolo, I'm gonna I I think you may be unmuted, maybe. Kilolo, you there? You want to unmute yourself? Or did you mean to raise your hand? Oh, she says her mic. Okay. Well, you can throw it in the chat room. I would definitely listen out. I mean, I would definitely read it out loud. Out loud. Bunsy adds, she says, just to add, joining tribe gives sense of community and being able to co-create with like-minded individuals. And this is a safe space for everyone. And being able to learn from everyone and share ideas, thoughts, and questions. Give thanks, Bunsy. Give thanks. Kiki Kilolo says, piece of advice is to be patient with self. Somebody say amen, ashe, I mean, in the chat room, or throw your hands up on the screen if you feel what she's saying and know that's word. You gotta be patient with yourself. I love it that we really want to improve ourselves. We really want to be the best self that we are, but we cannot accomplish that if we're constantly hard on ourselves. Now, I'm not saying go easy on yourself. I'm just saying don't be hard and self-sabotage yourself. Really, don't be hard and self-sabotage yourself, because that happens when you go real hard on yourself, okay? And then she also says, one thing I have learned is to slow my thoughts. Good. Slow my thoughts and listen to my thoughts. So, and that's true too. I know, who was it? I think it was Letitia last week was saying, or at some point in the chat room maybe, was saying that she had to learn how to slow down her thoughts or just dismiss what she was thinking and just listen and let it resonate. And then let that information unfold in the mind. It's a lot of information on these sessions, a lot of information on the sessions. But if you slow your mind down, you will get it all. If you slow your mind down, you will get it all. Drink you some water. If you indulge in wine, get you a glass of wine. If you indulge in tea, get you a nice glass of tea. Be in a comfortable space, even if you, but some people work while they're listening to the session. That's cool too. But don't be too pressed, to think it through and know everything and understand everything. You'll get the replay, take in what you can, and then listen to it over again, like some of the members said that they do. Bunsy adds, let go of ego. Let go of ego. Sometimes things may be said that you may want to challenge, but just let it go. Let it go. Let go of ego. Also, ego will tell you you don't know enough. You can't listen to this. You don't understand this. You can't understand what it's talking about. This is too much. Or I know all of this. Ego will have you missing out. Let go of ego. It says tribe helps with letting go of ego. That's what Bunsy adds. Cheryl adds, joining tribe was like realizing what I had been missing along my journey. I say, Cheryl. It will take time to get there, but don't give up, Kiki adds. Letitia said, yes, be patient. Bunsy said, also, I enjoyed the metaphysical teachings of things. Before tribe, I was so practical and literal. Yes, most people are, because we're not taught metaphysical. We're just not taught it that way. And so it is my desire for us to think deeply about everything, from the pain on your left side to the dream that you had last night, to what hour is this? By the way, who has the app? Somebody tell me what hour we're in. What planet is this hour? By the way, we got to start practicing using our app. Horror Watch. Just in case you don't know, I'm putting it in the chat room. Horror Watch. I hope that you all are utilizing these resources to help you stay in tune and in alignment with the heavenly bodies, because as above, so below. And we can surely stop doing all the pushing and pulling if we align with what's going on above. She said it's in Spanish on my phone. Girl, I knew you was Spanish. I'm just kidding. Okay. So work with the settings. We'll talk about that later. All right, it's 7:10. Peace and love. I see some names online, some people online that I'm not familiar with. If you could put in the chat, maybe your guests. I'm not sure. I just want to make sure I know everyone who's tuned in. I see Z. I think I saw an iPhone. If you are a guest of our guest speaker, please let me know via chat, maybe. That would be wonderful. Okay, it's my sister Soraya here. Let's see. Oh, there she is. Okay. Here we go. I'm gonna ask to unmute. Okay. Are you able to speak, Soraya?
Can you hear me?
Beautiful. Yes, I can hear you. Let's put your beautiful face on there. Hey, gal.
Hi. I'm using my phone because I look like a cartoon character on my computer. So those are my guests. I didn't
Okay,
want
I just wanted to make sure.
those are my guests. They are not sneaking through the back door, I promise. But
I just wanted to greet them. Welcome to all
yes,
the
yes.
students.
And thank y'all for coming in and your guests. But yeah, I had to use the phone, so I didn't engage in the chat too much because I'm like, I don't want to keep moving the phone. And every time you speak, I'm like, so I'm taking notes too. I'm learning some things too.
That's it. So let me tell y'all the background between Soraya and I was doing New and Full Moon Meditations live, and Soraya was on the line. At the lives faithfully, and I noticed Soraya so much, and I noticed Soraya and a few other ones because they generally come with, trust me, everything that they need to take full advantage. And she was one of them. She would have her candles, her journal. She had little trinkets over here and this over there. And she would have her mindset. She'd be like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. And I'm going to do this. And she had her, thing. And I noticed it like that because when you're doing this type of work, you appreciate when people really are putting their all into it because you really can see the benefit from it. It's just like people having a personal trainer. I'm sure that they appreciate the clients who really take it on and not just, doing it for instant gratification or temporary gratification. So that's how I met Sister Soraya. And since then, I've had her out to do a workshop that I did before. I think it was to take the spook out of spirituality. I think that's what the name of it was. I can't remember. And she also have serviced a member or so of the ministry. And so she is a master scripter. I usually bring her in to talk about scripting and give different tips. And so I thought this would be very, very beneficial for everyone because right now, and I want to just set the tone, remember our foundation. Our foundation is we understand that the mind is quite powerful. The mind is an entity in itself. You have parts of the mind, you have different aspects of the mind. The mind also is accompanied and supported by faith, power, strength. When you, the will, all of these different things, those 12 centers of consciousness. And so when you are mastering those 12 centers of consciousness and utilizing that mastery with mind, then you begin to see your life change. So scripting comes to play in where it's one of those physical things that you can do to help to govern the mind, help to direct the mind, help to focus the mind, and thus helps to govern, direct, and focus things that's happening in your life. This is the only thing we have control over. Everything else is truly destined. Everything else is lined up, and it's up to us to really allow ourselves to listen to our intuition, tune into ourselves, come from within, and do the things like scripting, praying, and affirmation. This is not a magic pill. This is not something that you should get obsessed with doing and attached to doing. This is something that is a tool that should be driven by spirit, what we talk about all the time. God should play a major role. Your relationship with God, your understanding about God, your foundation in God should play a major role in scripting. But with that being said, I want to go ahead and give Soraya the floor. Soraya, I'm just going to let you have at it. This is Sister Soraya. She is a master scripter. I suggest you take notes, or if you want to take the advice of others and just listen right now, write down some things that resonate with you, and then hop back on and listen to it over and over and over again. Without further ado, our sister Soraya, you got the floor, sis.
Thank you. Thank you. Such a warm welcome. And I am beyond excited to be here. I want to start with going through different pillars. So I'm going to walk you guys through different things that you can script about, which, you know, sometimes things will come to us in kind of a frenzy and you're like, where do I start? Or how do I start? I'm going to walk you through that first, and then I'm going to open the floor up for different questions, because sometimes, you know, I can name these things, but then people have questions about something totally different. And I can tell you what category that usually falls up under, so we can maybe suggest some affirmations or how to script about it. So, as Queen Yen said, it is one of those things that is similar to vision boarding. I know some people are like very gun ho with their vision boards. And I always tell people, I do them hand in hand. Something I did learn about vision boards is that you have to take them down for them to work. I never knew that. Mind blowing, never knew. I always had it up and I kept looking at it and looking at it and looking at it. And someone told me, if you keep looking at it and reviewing it, you're not allowing God to take, you know, their course and just to get those things in motion for you, because you're constantly worried about them all of the time. That's just like your scripting. When you open that journal and you're ready to write and you're focused, you focus that intention. And I like to tell people, if you're not focusing and, you know, putting your intentions out there, you're kind of setting yourself up for chaos. And not even just chaos, but for anything to, you know, just be invited into your space. And you have to really guard your space and just kind of just, you know, protect your vibe, protect your energy. So scripting helps and allows you to do that. And when you're scripting, I like to say there are 5 things that I script for faithfully. And I have my little notes right here because I have affirmations for them and everything. So the first one is finance, health and wellness, career, relationships, and then I like to say miscellaneous and your spirituality. Those are the things that are my go-to for sure. With miscellaneous, those are things like your fun, your travel, your, you know, your goals. If you want to be an entrepreneur, yeah, that can fall up under finance. But don't you want to have fun? Don't you want to say, you know, this might be a job, but it's fun for me, so you don't look at it that way. So that can fall up under your miscellaneous things. When
Can
it
you
comes
repeat those again, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you repeat those one more time?
finance, health and wellness, spirituality, your miscellaneous, which is your fun things, your travel, things like that. And then you also have your spirituality. So those are the 5. And you just kind of break them up into different sections as you go along. But what I always tell people is that when you start scripting, if you sit down and you do a one-on-one session with me, in which I do, what happens is I tell you, you want to focus on those 3 major things that are pressing you first. Once we can work through those 3 things, then we can open the door to work on other things and go from there. So you want to start with your most pressing issues. Is it, I know, I wrote her name down. Artavia was saying she was having trouble with a boss. And Artavia, I had that same issue, and I kid you not, I scripted that boss right away. I don't know if it was supposed to happen that way or I was supposed to leave, but either way, I scripted and she was gone. I mean, I came in one day, and you have to be careful when you do that, because like someone told me, she kind of scolded me because she was like, you did that. And what if she was promoted? And I was like, you were so right. It could have went the other way. She could have became the operations manager. She might not have been my boss, but now she's everybody's boss. You know what I mean? So that's when you have to get very precise with your words. With scripting, you have to be very, very detailed in how you do things. And also, like she said, that she scripted about it and she got laid off. It could have been whereby she could have scripted it out. And don't get me wrong, a layoff is always a blessing to somebody because something greater is on the way, either way. But it could have been whereby she was scripting about the situation and she got promoted and no longer had to be in that department. So it's just all in how you set it up and being precise with your words. Like I always tell my clients, think outside the box. I don't care if you have to open up a dictionary, a thesaurus, whatever. Just expand your mind to use different words. When you're scripting, I know for me, I like to use words like easily and effortlessly. So things come to me with ease. I'm not struggling to get it. Yeah, I'd like a check, but I don't have to be in a car accident to get that check. You know what I mean? So it's always best to say easily and effortlessly or under grace. Under grace to me is a connection to the divine. When you say under grace, that means like, hey God, yeah, it's me. You know what I need? You know what I want? Help me out here. You're not just out there aimlessly achieving to no one. And as long as you know that there's a higher power that's helping you to achieve these things, you can't go wrong. As long as you make that connection. And sometimes people tend to script and they'll say things like, well, I have been scripting about this for maybe 3 months and it just hasn't been happening. That happens. Sometimes it's working itself out and it may not come in the way that you scripted it, but it'll still come in a different way. Or there could be some things that you have internally, emotionally, physically, or spiritually that are blocking those things from coming in. And you want to clear those things out before you script on that situation. Because you can be scripting about a new job or a new home, but if you don't love your current home or your current car for that matter, how do you expect to get a new one? Or how do you expect to manifest something with new energy? So when it comes to scripting for new things, I always say, love what you're in, love the season that you're in. Even if it's a rainy season, it can be thunder and lightning, tornadoes, hurricanes, it doesn't matter. You love it, you embrace it for where it is, you thank that situation for guiding you through, and you just script that I give thanks that I've learned and I have been in this situation. I've learned what I needed to learn and I'm ready for something new. And that new will start to come. And like I said, it doesn't always come in the way that you think it's going to come. It doesn't come fast. I get some people, I kid you not, they can script something and 3 days later they're like, hey, I did this and then this came and then this came. But then I get some people that say, well, yeah, it came, but it was maybe like 6 months later, or I didn't move until a year later. And that happens, and it's not to beat yourself up about it or to say, well, something's wrong with me because I'm trying to manifest this thing and it's not coming. It's just a moment to step back and realize where you are, appreciate it, and go from there. And most importantly, when it comes to those miscellaneous things, like I said, if you aren't traveling, why not? Besides Corona, but why not? Why haven't you been outside of your home city or your home state? Script it out and don't worry about, oh, I can't afford that plane ticket, or oh, I don't think I could sit on the plane for 13 hours. I'm trying to tell you, I went to Thailand and I was scripting on the plane, like, you know what, this flight is long. Whatever happens, happens, but we gonna get there safe. It doesn't matter. Like, you have to take that time for yourself and just know that in the back of your head, all is well. It's it's going your way or no way. Think about it that way. You're setting up your fairy tale. When you were a kid, did you worry about someone coming and crashing your sandcastle, or did you just build it? And you went on and then made a mud pie and didn't even worry about who was gonna come kick it over. You did it. You put that thought into it. You said, this is what I want to do, and you made it happen. And that's the same thing with scripting. And once you start to script, for me, if I'm scripting for, and I always use a job because it's like everybody always asks me about something like that. So that's usually a lot of my references. But if I'm scripting for a new job, I go ahead and take my interview clothes out. I hang them up. I have them looking nice. I have my shoes laid out. I script for the job, and without fail. And I learned this from being with Queen Yin back in the day with the moon meditations. Without fail, I was preparing myself. I would sit that stuff out, and without fail, by Friday, I had a phone call. Hey, would you like to come in and do an interview on such and such day? Sure. And people are like, well, how did you? I, it, they were. I wasn't waiting on them. They was waiting on me. And that's the attitude that I had. And so I made it happen. I didn't script about it and say, well, I might be busy next week, or I might can't make it because I don't even have enough to get gas, but I need to get none of that. That had nothing to do with nothing. All I knew was I scripted about it. It happened and it came true. And the rest was history. I did what I had to do. I have a few moments for questions. Anybody? Because I've been talking. I don't want to. I don't want to miss out on your questions.
No, you're good. I'm going to open the floor up for questions. I'm going to throw in my interview style questions right now.
Okay,
So I think I probably am right to think that several people on the line, if not a lot, if not all, want to know, and maybe if you can give an example of the how to script, how to get it going, what kind of how to just eat, how to do it,
Okay.
start your scripting, maybe give one or two examples of the how.
So I always tell people, and there was someone on here on the line that said she got a new journal. Use that journal for the new year. Don't you worry about anything. This is a new journal. This is new energy. So like I always tell people to go look for a journal. It can be Marshall's, it can be Target, wherever you shop for your journals. Find a journal that resonates with you. Something pretty, or something, it could be, if you're a male, something masculine, whatever makes that, just, it's kind of like when you're shopping for stones. I'm gonna put it like that. If that stone just isn't, rocking with you, leave it alone. Same as a journal. If you walk in there and you say, oh, okay, this one looks nice, or this one looks pretty. I kid you not, I walk out of the store with like 10 of them. I'm like, oh, I like this one. I like this one. I like this one. Because I plan to keep going. I have had about 13 journals so far, scripting journals so far. And I've been scripting since 2013. So I make sure that when I go in there, I pick out things that resonate with me. Once you have your journal, and this is kind of like a mental note to keep throughout the year, you can use different journals. Don't get me wrong, you can use different journals, but when it comes to the end of the year, you want to use a new journal for the new year. So when that new year starts, don't keep writing in that old journal. Use a new one, because this is fresh energy and new energy. And sometimes your expectations change because you're going into a new year. So you want to bring that new energy with you. But I make sure that when I first have my journal, I write a dedication page. And your dedication page can be anything that you wanted to say. For an example, you can say, I dedicate this book to my new life. I dedicate this to new teachings, new ways of understanding, and the new things that I would like to manifest within my life. I always sign it and I date it. Now, when you're signing and dating in your journal, this is for people who are wanting to achieve like a certification, or say you were in medical school. When I was in radiology school, I would always sign and date with my credentials behind it. So I would say, radiology tech, whatever, behind it. If you feel like you want to achieve any certifications, or you want to become Dr. So-and-so, or, a humanitarian, always sign with those identifiers behind it before you date. Or you can say CEO of whatever your company is. So you sign and date it, because it's like an actual document and contract that you're making with God. And you want to take it serious. So you sign it and you date it as if you were going to a lawyer's office, you would do the same thing. So you sign and date. And I like to write on the front page. I never write on the back. I find that it slows my energy down when I have to flip over and write on the back. So I always just write on the front page. And I also make sure that I write in cursive. There's always the dispute of scripting and whether you should write in cursive or not, because let's be real, when the last time y'all learned cursive? Some schools still teach it, some don't. I literally, when I had to start scripting and someone told me this, I pulled up a cursive chart on Google and I retaught myself cursive. And I'm not going to say that when I was writing regular that things weren't happening, because they were, but they were happening a little slower. And I noticed that, when you're writing and you're like, I see, it stops it, it breaks it up a little bit. So when you're writing in cursive, you're more so, and you're going and you're in the flow. And you'll see that a lot of times when you're writing in cursive, that you'll feel this overwhelming sense of spirit just kind of come at you. And you'll be scripting things and you won't even know where it's coming from. You'll be like, was that me? Because some people will go back and read it. Me, I'm just like, I know what's gonna happen. I ain't even got to read this. I'm gonna go ahead and put this book up for the week. But that's just how I am. But I do encourage you to go back and read what you said, because you want to, for the first few years, you want to check off, oh man, I accomplished this, or I did that, or I did that. Because sometimes you can't keep up with everything, but it's always best to go back and read it. But yeah, try cursive. If you have been scripting regular, I promise you, try cursive and see how that energy works for you, and trying only on that first page and keeping it going. Just keep it going, just keep it going, just keep it going. And sign and date. And that's usually how I get started.
So another thing, when I started the scripting, and we got people in the chat room too, I want to acknowledge them. Alicia says, I'm an 80s baby. We learned cursive.
Good.
John says, cursive forces you to write on purpose. I love that. Reading it over will probably help you have so much more gratitude for what has been done.
Absolutely.
Yandra asks, do you sign and date each entry?
Yes, you do. Everyone, all the time.
And Bunsey says, how often to script, or how often do you script?
If you my client, as someone in the ministry is, she knows I'll tell her. You got to every day. If you can't make it to every day, at least give yourself 3 times a week until things are until you're vibrating so high that you're walking out, parking spots there, green light all day, every day. That's pretty much where I become. So I cut it back to, you know what, I'm gonna script maybe twice a week now. And then I got to the point where I could script once a week, where I take that Sunday and I sit there and I'm like, okay, I don't want my week to look. But I will say this, I encourage everybody to utilize those 4 seasons and always script for the next season. How do you want your winter time to look? Script about that in the fall. How do you want your spring to look? Let's start scripting about spring now. You can script about spring and summer. What you doing this summer? You having fun? You seeing family finally? You're able to travel more? You're at the beach? What are you doing? Go ahead and start scripting for that in advance. So when that time comes, because y'all know in the spring and summer, you outside, you kind of neglect that book a little bit, but things are still happening for you because you've already set the intention to do so. So it's as often as you want to see things manifest in your life. But I'll tell you what, like Abraham and Esther always taught me, when you're in the vortex, things are constantly always coming to you, and you're growing and you're getting, and you're just, everything's coming for you. So when you script, that's you placing yourself in the vortex. That's you taking that time to say, you know what, I'm gonna take this time for myself, and I'm gonna get in the vortex, and I'm gonna place myself there, and I'm gonna stay there. That's for the people that take that time to, take 3 times a week to script. Or, I got to the point when I first started, I was scripting every day. I was on it. And then I cut back and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do 3 times a week. And things were still happening for me. But in order for scripting to work and to keep that energy flow going, you want to do it as often as possible.
And that was great tips. Great tips. I'm taking notes, mental notes on what you're saying. I love how you said make sure each season you're scripting. Y'all know I really focus on, we got winter solstice coming up. We have then the spring, then the summer, then the fall. When you know what's happening in the heavenly body or cosmically, you can be even that much more in tune with your scripting. And please understand that the more internal work you do, the more scripting on your internal work that you need to do, the more you will find yourself in the vortex constantly. The more you will find yourself in a flow of manifestation, the more you manifest. So don't forget to be in tune with what you should be focusing on in those seasons too. because some seasons you need to be focusing on purging and cleansing, not gaining. A lot of times we're trying to expand our territory so much, but it's not the season for that kind of expansion. You need to expand yourself. You need to expand your consciousness. You need to raise your vibration. And for right now, that's the season that we're in. Fall and winter is really that season. Fall is all about purging, cleansing, and then winter is in cultivation. We're in the womb right now, so you should be cultivating. You should be really focusing on nurturing yourself and getting ready for your rebirth. That's the time right now. And then, with this solstice coming up being rebirth period, then you need to take care of your spiritual selves like you would a baby. Be gentle. Don't let everybody handle you. Don't have too many, all that kind of stuff. And then with your scripting, you need to make that with the focus of, okay, this is the new me. I'm going to script those things into my life that I know will nurture the new me, that I know will set me in the foundation of the new me, the me that is not double-minded, the me that is not does not have little faith, the me that does not bend, and stand firm, the me who's able to stand firm on what I know spirit and intuition is telling me to do, no matter what others' expectations are of me. Those are the type of things we need to script. If you have a hard time with meditating, you need to have your scripting on meditation so you can get in tune with it. Anything and everything that you think of, you can script about, and it is yours. So I appreciate that. I'm going to ask one more thing, and I'm going to open the line and let other people ask questions. I am one, I spoil people with my examples. The teacher in me wants me to ask you to give an actual example of how your scripting sounds. So I have talked about momentum scripting, where you write one word at the top of the paper, in the middle of the paper, and then you just write words. So you maybe write freedom, and then you begin to just write words that vibe on the same frequency of freedom, ease, flow, clear-mindedness, abundance, connection. And you just keep writing and writing until you just feel your vibrations rising and rising. I call that momentum scripting. I also have a classic one that I always talk about, and that's my gratitude letter scripting, where I'm scripting, but I'm scripting in the form of gratitude. Oh, I give thanks. I give thanks for the joy that I feel in this new home and on this new job. I love the fact that I like my my colleagues. I admire my supervisor. I'm learning so much while I'm here. I'm able to expand and grow, and you just keep going and going. And so it's in the form of a gratitude letter. Do you have a certain way that you script, like technique that you use, or the way that you use your language as far as your script?
So I do. I tend to write my scripting out like I always tell people, you are creating the life in which you deserve, is usually my slogan. And I write out my story. So I write it in a story form. And I could start something like, I give thanks for my new home. And like you said, with the gratitude portion, I always start every sentence. So you don't have to do this, it's up to you. It's just with certain sentences, I like to start them with, I give thanks that. So I can always make sure that when I'm scripting, I am including the gratitude. I give thanks that, I have this new job and my commute to work is wonderful. My colleagues are great, like you said. The doctors that I work for are always very nice to me. They love my work. And then I take that time, maybe, once I feel like those things are kind of shifting and I feel good about them, I'll come back and script some more about that same situation, but I'll embellish on it. I give thanks that I now have gained a promotion because they have loved the work that I've done. I give thanks that when I go to work, people are always very nice to me. I give thanks that I'm now being transferred to a different department so I can utilize my skills better, or I can teach my skills to others. So I always take that time to embellish on it. Whatever the situation is, you can always make it better. And like you said, sometimes you're in a season whereby you need to be releasing. And trust me, with scripting, you can script that as well. I have had to release people that way, relationships that way, things that I no longer needed. I always say, I love, bless, and release this person, place, or thing, whatever it is, for an example. And I give thanks that it is no longer on my vibration and I am no longer on their vibration. Things like that. So if you're in that season of, oh yeah, it's time to release, such as like a full moon, I take that time to script some things that I would like to release. And then when it's time for that new moon, I'll come in and say, all right, since I released those things, what do I stop and I think, what do I want to bring in now? And I'll script out those things that I would like to bring forth. And when you say love, someone said, thank you for those words. You're welcome. But when you say love, bless, and release, that means that you're sending someone off good. And it's not with resentment in your heart. Like, you're not like, oh, I can't stand them. You're setting it up and setting them off with love. And then there's times where I will script, I give thanks that if find myself, we're all human. Sometimes we worry. If I find myself worrying about a certain situation, I'll just say, I'll write it in my scripting as a story. I give thanks that God now sends divine right action to send divine order to that situation. And I give thanks that all is well and I am well. So I just write it out as if it's a story more than anything. And it's funny because for those people that like to go back and read it, you'll laugh because it's like, oh, I kind of wrote my own bibliography out here. And it's playful. So treat it as a playful story.
Jay. All right. Someone asked, should you script for one thing each day? So like once you've scripted for one thing, move on to the next thing the next day?
You can script for that one thing. And like I said, don't get caught up on it too much. You can script for that thing that day and then script for something else the next day. But don't forget to go back and embellish on that thing, because say you scripted, I give thanks that I get a new car and it comes to me easily and effortlessly and under grace, meaning that, you didn't get it through a car accident. You actually went on the lot and picked out whatever you want. How about you go back and embellish on that car? Is it a hybrid? Or, does it save you gas for work? Is it getting you to where you need to go? Is it reliable? So those are things where, you'll script about. I say script about it until you feel comfortable that psychologically those neurotransmitters in your mind say, don't worry about that. It's already done. Don't worry about it. So, until you feel comfortable, you don't necessarily have to move on so quickly. You can focus on it. You can embellish on it. But if you start to feel like it's causing some form of anxiety because it's not there yet, let it go. Just release it. Go on to the next thing.
Okay. When scripting as often as possible, does that mean each scripting session is based on something different? Or you just kind of answered that one, but did you want to add anything? I feel like you answered that one.
Doesn't have to be. It's pretty much what you make it. Like I said, you're writing out your own story. Now, if you do a one-on-one consultation with me, I will do a check back to see, well, how did those things go? And then, yeah, we're moving on to the next thing. If you want to stay on those things, by all means, we can. But I still want to know, like, okay, so what do you got planned next? Let's check in on it. But let's see what what are you waiting for next?
All right. What sort of setup to our physical surrounding is the most conducive to scripting?
Well, for me, sometimes I will sit in my comfy chair, light a candle or an incense, or I'll be in the bed. Some people like to script at night, and then there's some people that are morning scripters. I find that if I'm really, really stressed out, I'm a morning scripter. I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to set the intention for the day. So I make sure I do not worry about anything that day. But if I'm just regular, I'll script at night before I go to bed. And I make sure I always keep my journal on my nightstand with my nightstand stones. And it's just completely up to you and your preference. You don't always have to set a vibe. Like, here in our house, we have a wellness room. Yeah, it's great if you want to come and script in the wellness room or you want to meditate in the wellness room. It does give you a feeling. But even if you just say, you know what, I'm tired, I'm just going to script from my bed today, I'm going to light a candle, that's okay too. Some people script in their car before they go into work. I've done that too. Then I met one guy, I kid y'all not, he had 3 journals. He had one in the house, he had one in the car, he had one at the job. And so I was like, okay, I mean, that's what you want to do. So it's all up to you. It's fun for you. Don't make it to whereby it has to be I got to do this and I got to do it a certain way, because oftentimes that's how people, when they first get started meditating, they think that they got to sit a certain way and breathe a certain way. And it's not like that. It's what you make it. So it's all up to you.
And the last question in the chat room, and then I'm going to grab the hands that are up. Is scripting better than using a vision board, or should they be used simultaneously?
I like to use them simultaneously. However, I don't use vision boards as much as I do scripting. I use vision boards kind of seasonally. So I script all the time, but my vision boards are pretty much seasonal. And sometimes they're just time consuming. And I've already compact when I do vision boards, my fiance will tell you, I'm stacking them up. He might have one, and on my side of the room it's 6 of them. So I've put out what I want for the year within my vision boards, or that season within my vision board. So I tend to do scripting more, but it's completely up to you. I like to do them simultaneously because it's fun. It's fun work to do. It's fun to put those things out there. So it's completely up to you, however you want to do it.
All right, Bunsy, I'm coming for you. I'm going to unmute you 1 second. If she's still on. If you have a question that you want to ask aloud, definitely just raise your hand. Or as a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is just give you the capacity to unmute yourself. I'm not seeing Bunsy for some reason. Oh, Bunsy said I already asked. Okay. So I'm going to still, you have the capacity now to unmute yourself. So go for it, you all, if y'all have any more questions. Let me say this, though. With the vision board, sometimes people get a little obsessed with the picture, okay? I can't stop saying that over and over again. Do not let your vision become your burden, because it can happen like that. If you're thinking about too much, I think one of the things that Surreal said that I really want us to keep in mind is that if your vibration is very like resistant when it comes to that topic, let it go. Let it go. Let go, because all you're doing is really stressing. You know, you're not really it's not going to serve the purpose. The purpose of scripting is for you to tap into and tune into that flow of universal abundance that's there for all of us. And the only way we can do that is we lighten our hearts, get playful, stop being so serious about things in life, you know, like lighten up, let it be, and know that it's already done. If you find yourself having a hard time believing it, because some things in life we feel like it's just too, this is Queen, I don't know if I can script this away. I'm talking about, sis, is everything stacked up against me, sis. It's not that much positivity in the world. I can tell you the story. Let me tell you, Queen. Let me lay it all out for you. Yeah, I got you. I hear you. I hear you. You know, one of the things that someone said to me just recently is like, Queen, it's almost like you never going through anything, or you know, you always smiling, or it's like you all. It's not that I'm not going through anything. It's just that I'm wanting to get out of that thing. So I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to focus on it. I'm going to keep a smile on my face, because where I'm focused is in the goodness and in gratitude. That's where my focus is. So gratitude is really key when you're doing your scripting, because when you start thinking about the things that you desire, sometimes the lack sneaks up in your mind. The lack of what you're desiring sneaks up in your mind. Move away from that. Scripting is not for you to revisit lack. It is for you to be grateful and to tune into the knowing and knowledge that you know that things are already done. Just know that. Just make sure you keep those things in mind. Anyone else have any comments or questions for our sister Soraya?
And I'm going to share something at the end after we finish the questions.
Okay. And Dee says, if you are always focused on gratitude and goodness, or maybe she's saying always focus on gratitude and goodness. Okay. Well, doesn't seem like we have any questions or comments. We're doing good time. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm not seeing these hands. My bad, y'all. I'm not ignoring y'all. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Go ahead, John. And you all have the capacity to unmute, I believe. Let me know if you don't.
I have a question from Takidra. Is that how you say it?
Yes, Takidra. Go ahead, Takidra. Okay, I see. Sorry, my bad. I don't know. I might have a delay on my end. One second.
Need to explain releasing.
Can you give, yes, can she said, Takidra says, can you give another example? I'm going to get you in a second, Bree. My computer is doing something strange. Can you give another example of scripting for releasing? Okay, and I can't unmute.
So it just depends on exactly what you're releasing. If it's a person, you can basically script that you love, bless, and release them. And I always say, and they're now going off to their highest and best good. I'm going off to my highest and best good. And we are no longer on the same vibration. If it's a place, you can do the same thing. I love, bless, and release this place. I give thanks that I no longer have to go there. I give thanks that it's no longer on my path, things like that. Or if it's a thing, I give thanks that I release this thing, or I release my energy attached to this thing. And I give thanks that it no longer causes me anxiety or depression or any ill will or anything like that. But love, bless, and release is the main thing that you should start every sentence with when you're releasing, because it means you're releasing without resentment or the need to say, oh, I really need that, when you really don't. And let me know if that helps, if you want me to go in more depth, but that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Go ahead, Bree. Okay, I'm not hearing it. 1 second. I see your lips moving, but I'm not hearing your voice.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Wait a minute. Now? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
No, Soraya, where you feel comfortable, could you share your testimony, and how your life has changed since you started scripting? Nothing
Sure.
like too personal, but
No.
wherever you feel good.
Oh, no, not personal at all. When I first started scripting, I was a student in radiology school. I was pretty stressed out because it was hard, it was hard work, kind of like when nurses have their clinical rotations and things like that. But I was one of those people that I still love competition in my professional life. And so I was like, well, I'm going to graduate at the top of the class, and I'm going to get this, and I'm going to do that, I'm going to get a job. And so I scripted all these things, and I scripted that I would graduate at the top of the class, and that I would find a job easily and effortlessly. And I did. I graduated with a 4.0. I was at the top of my class, and I had the job to I had the job actually before I even crossed the graduation stage. And that was actually months before I graduated. I had just learned how to script. And that was before I even learned cursive or any of those things. Like when I started scripting, it was some major, major things happening to whereby I was like, wow, I mean, if I keep this up, maybe I can get some things. Even when I tell my clients, like, if you're scripting for a new home, I say, don't put too much emphasis on what type of home, because spirit may lead you to, you might be saying, oh, I want a new townhouse. The spirit may have something much bigger for you. So just script that that you manifest a new home that you love, that you feel comfortable in. And that happened to me. Like, I wanted to get my own apartment, but I knew that I needed to just script for a home. And as I did, I found a place, and I was like, living in Buckhead, this is expensive. This rent is high. And I don't know. And so I said, no, I'm going to script about it, because if I can live in this area, that means that I can manifest the money to be here. And my vibration will be higher enough for me to be here. And I scripted about it, and I got a call from the leasing office, and they said, well, you've been approved, but the unit that you were looking for is not available until Christmas, and we had to evict someone. I love the holidays, always cheerful. I was like, we are not evicting anybody during the holidays. So I kept scripting about it. And they called me back again. They said, we have another unit. And they took me to that unit. And my cousin took me, she's like, "You're not staying back here. It's in the woods. And this is dangerous. You're a female living by yourself." And I said, okay. I kept scripting about it. And I'm like, she worried about the woods. I'm worried about the price. And so I kept scripting, and they gave me, I'm like, this, I wanted a certain amount of space, but I did not want to pay that price for it. So I kept scripting about it. And I got a call, and they said, "Your unit is ready, but you've been moved to this unit." I said, okay, it was the space that I wanted, but it was at a price that I could easily afford. And that's something that I always tell you when you're scripting for something that you feel like is, oh, it's out of my price range. How people will say, I just always script that I can easily afford everything. I don't care if it's a private jet, I can easily afford that too. So, I always script that I can easily afford it. And they gave it to me at the price of the lower apartment, but it was more space. So that's one of my personal stories that I had when I first started scripting.
Oh, thank you for sharing. That kind of stuff made me giddy. I'm about to go script tonight. I'm gonna get another journal tomorrow. I'm so ready. Into, I'm asking you to unmute yourself. You can go for it. Bree says, "Thank you. Thank you for asking, Bree."
You're welcome. Thank you.
Greetings. Greetings. Thank you so much for your knowledge and sharing. What I wanted to know was back on what Takidra asked about of the releasing scripting. Now, with the releasing scripting, is this something that you keep?
Say that for me again.
All right, hold on. Let me put my off real quick. With the releasing scripting, is it something that you keep, or is it something that you can do, like you can ritualize it and like burn it and get rid of it? Like, should you have a separate journal for the release?
With scripting, you don't necessarily have to. You don't have to. What you can do is script a new story after that. So if you release this, let's say, old car, how does your new story look without that car? You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't always have to be like when of course, when you're doing like full moon scripting and you're releasing, then yes, you're going to burn it. But you can use the same journal. You can keep it in there, but you just start to script a new story. So even though you're releasing, you're still bringing in new energy after that. So it's not like you're holding on to a toxic past or anything like that.
Excellent question and very resonant answer. Just want to voice Ross Kofi's response. He says, "I really appreciate how you articulate the jewel of releasing things with gratitude and love. Genuine gratitude and genuine love. I find that it's foolproof way to not have to revisit the same situation or feeling that we are releasing. Powerful. Also, the jewel of taking the vision board down for it to really work is a lovely jewel. Same as vocal prayer. Say it with clarity and leave it, knowing it's done. As a farmer, I don't go uncover seeds. As a farmer, I don't go uncovering seeds after I plant them. I say.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I would like to share. Okay. For 1 second, let me get. Oh, I miss you so much. Wait a minute. Oh my God. I'm low key like a giddy child right now. Oh my God. Hi.
Good to be here. Hello. I'd like to share some things.
I want to reach the screen and hug your face. Oh my God.
Right.
Go for it. Okay, go for it. I'm a hush now. Go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to share my testimony. Soraya first introduced me into scripting. And some of the things that I scripted about was a new job close to my home, and that my coworkers loved me and I loved them. And every time I would script about a place close to my house, I would laugh. Of course, you couldn't get any closer than downtown. I found a job that was 7 minutes from where I am. And I was looking in a different place, but out of the blue, this job showed up. And I love my coworkers and they love me. Also, She introduced me to Queen Yin, and I'm so ever grateful to you for that, Soraya. Soraya also, I do guided meditation and sound vibration. Soraya scripted for me for a new place that I'm in now. So I don't know, Soraya, if you mentioned that you can script for other people, but I'd like you to cover that if you don't mind.
I was joining the chat for a second, but yes, yes, I did script for Soraya a new place. She and I are very close friends, so my close friends and my family knows that I script for them all the time. And you can script for other people. You can, if there's a relationship in your family where you feel like, oh, me and my sister or my mother don't get along, you can definitely script about that relationship that you guys are getting along. When you come into the same room, it's nothing but love, positive vibes. Because a lot of people, it's normal to have family issues, completely normal. But what's not normal is that phenomenal transformation that can happen that seems just different when you walk in the room and you're like, oh, we're getting along. We're speaking now. We're on speaking terms. You're calling me now. Okay, cool. She's coming to my house or he's coming to my house. So you can definitely script about, any family members that may have fallen off the wagon or anything like that. If you see someone in turmoil, it's completely okay. You can script for them. I get things that maybe my little brother or my little sister, she may have fallen down the wrong path, but I give thanks that God surrounds her with divine order or divine guidance to come back on that path. Things like that. It is completely okay to script for other people. I've known so many people that have healed relationships just by scripting for those people and themselves, the healing of themselves and those people.
Yes. Soraya and Soraya. Look at that. My favorite Sorayas. Soraya, I love you genuinely so much. Let me tell y'all just real quick, because I just have to, because I can't help but tell the story all the time. Soraya, the Soraya that was just talking, who was blessed with her 7 minutes away job by her house. Ashe, oh, I'm telling you. I give thanks for that ease for you. Trust me, I give thanks for that ease for you. But where I did my new moon and full moon meditations, this place that I did it, Soraya will always be there because she does her meditation and sound bowl therapy there as well. And she will also attend my sessions or whatnot. But I would be there getting the stuff together, moving the chairs, lugging it out, coming back in. And one day, my shoulder was on fire. I think my shoulder and knee at that time was on fire. I had problems with my right shoulder and my right knee. And I was just moving. I'm talking about just going up the stairs. She said, just can you hold on for a second. Let me, I can't remember how she stopped me, but she stopped me and said, let me feel your, or let me see what's going on with your shoulder. And I want to say she gave me like a 5 to 10 minute Reiki session. We just talking and chit chatting away, and heedy, ha ha ha. And she just talking while she doing it. She ain't doing nothing all mystical and ain't laying down, no candles lit. We just talking and she got her, she's doing her Reiki. When I say 2 days later, I kind of looked up and was like, my shoulder is not hurting anymore. I was like, oh my God. And it was amazing. That's how I got introduced to Reiki. It was amazing to me because my shoulder, I got used to. She said while she was doing it, you have a very high tolerance for pain because my shoulder was in serious pain for a long time and my knee. And so from that point on, my mother, staunch Christian, ain't dealing with none of that hooty doody stuff. My mother said yes to getting a Reiki session from her. And my mother talked about her for weeks. I don't know if you know Soraya, but my mother transitioned. I think it's 3 months ago now. She transitioned in what was that? It was Labor Day time. But she talked about that for weeks. Oh, she always said, "How's she doing? Oh, bless her heart. Out here helping people." This show help me, and this show feel good too. What they call that thing now? What they call it? It's called Reiki, Mama. Well, what they do? How she do that with her hand? I'm like, Ma, it's God. It's what God is working through her. Then tell her I say, hey. Anyway, that's my story with Soraya. We were like the healing crew of Edgewood for for a little while. So I can't wait to see your new space. I know it's in EV Fresh. Just to let everybody in Atlanta know, if you want to get some powerful Reiki done, it relieves pain, it relieves emotion. It's internal and external relief. If I can give my testimonial, it helps with the releasing of the energy in your chakras on the inside, and it even helps with physical pain because we know what's going on within is what generally manifests is what's going on without. And her spirit is just so beautiful. It matches that the two Sorayas that's on the line tonight have such a beautiful energy. I'm not sure if I'm missing anyone. Let me keep going because I'm like giddy right now. I just when I saw you tune in, I was like, oh my God. Okay. I didn't know how to raise my hand, but I will say my experience as well. Okay, 1 second. And then Didi, can you just put that question back in there? Because I'm trying to search back through and I'm just not seeing it for some reason. Crystal was saying that maybe I'm not seeing everyone's question. But Crystal, I'm gonna come to you too and just hit unmute for you.
Okay. Hi, Soraya.
Hello.
So good to see your face. I'm still sad that I didn't get to see you when you came down here.
I know.
So, Tribe, I am Soraya's client. And I think I told maybe I told Bunsy about my experience. So back when I was at Defects, look, I'm already going into mode like, oh my God, back when I was at Defects, oh my God. But so I met Soraya at the I really want to say it was either the spring, I think it was the spring equinox session that Queen did at Iwi Fresh. And Soraya gets up there and she's talking about scripting. And first of all, that was probably maybe like one of my first experiences. I didn't know anything about Reiki at that point, and I didn't know anything about scripting. All I know is my friend Yaninga is a walking testimony of faith. And I was like, let me go see what they're talking about over here today. So Soraya is talking and I'm like all into it. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to book a session. I was going through a lot at that time in different areas of my life. Honestly, I was really going through a lot of different things. And my testimony, which always sticks out in my mind, a lot of things have changed, honestly. And I had a recent session too. So you can get one session, but I think it's really good to go and have like another and another just like any type of coaching is good to kind of like follow up. And even listening to you today, Soraya, you reminded me of things from my very first session. But Tribe, I wanted to say one of the major components for me was releasing that job, but I had to release the hate. I don't have it no more, I promise. I had to release the hate that I had for that job and honestly for my supervisor. Really. It was a lot. And so when I came back to work, and because I was on FMLA, we met at Piedmont Park. I'll never forget it. I was on FMLA from that job. And when I went back to work, I think everybody was kind of looking at me like, because I wasn't angry. I think I maybe even went back to work with like a new haircut. I definitely had a new step. I had a new 1-2 step walking up into that office. And I scripted every day. I was really big into Abraham Hicks at that point. So I really was intentional, even about my workspace. That was something that we had discussed. My workspace was very intentional. And I probably scripted all day, every day. That's kind of how I look at it because I would leave sticky note reminders in my cubicle space. I would wake up in the morning intentionally scripting. And I think too, just mentally, it is really good for you to kind of give yourself that morning pep talk. Because when you are in a situation where you really want to remove that situation, like she said, you got to be grateful, and those teachings remain with me now, and it helps to guide me to so many blessings. Like 2020, I mean, just I talk to Queen Yen all the time, and I think we both sit in awe, like, people talk about looking at the ups and downs, but I don't even think we kind of do we even look at stuff like that, yeah? Because I think like we even look at things that people would maybe consider a down, like we still see the light even in those situations. And I really am grateful for Soraya. Like I'm so grateful for her. I love her energy. We get on the line, y'all. Our session was so long, it was ridiculous. But I'm a talker, of course. But I mean, the energy that you see here on this chat, that's the energy that you get one on one. So it's an amazing tool, y'all. It's really an amazing tool. I say definitely book you a one-on-one session with her. After this, y'all know we in this litty time with the winter solstice. So like this, the time is now. So I'm super excited that you're on the call. And I thank you. And if y'all have any questions for me, let me know. I'm cool with answering questions as well. And you can hit me up if you're in the group me app, y'all can send me like a personal message in that app as well.
I'm not mute. Thank you, Crystal. Soraya, I keep muting you because it's a little feedback when I mute you. John, I'm not sure if I'm missing you. Make sure you let me know, John. I see your hand go up and then I don't see it up now. I want to make sure I get you if your hand is really up. I'm unmuting you now, Natasha. I'm unmuting you now. And let me say this while Natasha is getting ready to speak. This session was, I intentionally wanted us to, we've been trying to plan something for a minute now, and we could have done it a few weeks ago, but I said I wanted us to do this now prior to this winter solstice period. And let me emphasize again, because winter solstice is on the 21st, but there's this, I'm going to use my mystical language. There's this portal of energy happening from the 21st to the 25th that a lot of people don't talk about and a lot of people don't know about. And we're so caught up on being off of work and getting ready for Christmas and, getting ready for travel and all this stuff that we're missing out on what's happening in the heavenly bodies. And during that time, and with the sun and what's happening with the sun and the moon, during that time, that little period, the sun raises between the 21st and the 25th. The sun raises at a certain degree for those 3 days at the same degree at the same time for 3 days. And on the 25th, the day that they say the sun is born, the sun raises same time but much higher. That happens around the winter solstice every year. And if you really value the essence, the meaning, the impact of the sun, you truly understand that truly is like a rebirth period. So if you look at it like that, where winter solstice is ushering in this 3 day of preparing for a rebirth, then you can really take that on and really put your mind on it just like that and truly experience a rebirth in your life. You could truly experience it. And knowing that in the membership as well as on the new moon and full moon, we've been preparing for this the whole fall, since fall equinox. And so we've been doing a lot of purging, and I've been challenging everybody: discipline, devotion, sacrifice, letting go of your ego, checking your ego, making sure you're not functioning, making sure you're functioning from a space of divine will instead of your egoic will, instead of your ego being driven by ego, making sure you're being led by spirit. That's been the language that you've been hearing it's been purposeful, it's been intentional, because now we have the opportunity coming from Monday, the winter solstice, leading up to the day the sun is born, Christmas, where now we can look at Christmas a little differently now, where the reason why the tree of life, the gifts underneath that tree, connected with that tree, the star on top, where you're looking for your guidance through the tree of life, which is the essence of God. This is what, Christmas is really on a deeper level all about. But so this scripting session was intentional to be tonight, because we want you to start scripting or continue to script, but be a little bit more focused on your internal work that you need to be doing. We got a lot of people online that may have dealt with double-mindedness a lot. You may deal with the wavering faith sometimes. You may deal with the monkey mindedness. You may deal with the controlling issues. You may deal with the judgment, real judgmental about yourself, about life, about others, all of those different things. If you're having a hard time with really releasing those things or moving past them, script. When y'all hear me say put it in your prayers, that's what I mean. Because some stuff you just got to script about. You just got to pray on it. You don't have the answers to it. What was that scripture last session where the scripture said something like, I'm paraphrasing, stop thinking so highly of yourself. Don't think you are the one who know everything and in control of everything. That's what keeps you stressed out, So the scripting really helps with that. So dig deep. What is that stuff that you just can't move past? Is it a loved one who transitioned that you can't really move past that transition? There's something there that you can't really get past that. Is there a relationship in your life that you feel like it's just too much to try to reconcile? It's never going to get better. Do you have that in your life? Do you have fear when it comes to parenting your children? Do you have fear when it comes to money? Do you have debt that you feel like can never be resolved? Those type of things you want to release. Anything that's burdening your heart. We really want to be light, y'all. Be light so that when spring comes, winter is not about death. It's life. Where you think those blossoms come from in the spring. But we can't get there if we keep on dragging ourselves down. It ain't nobody else's fault. So you may as well take that finger and point it on back. But Queen, you don't know. I want you to take that finger and bring it on back to yourself. Because it doesn't matter what happened in life. You have an everyday choice on whether you're going to carry that into your next moment, into your next hour, into your next day. All right. My daddy gene is silenced. I'm going to stop preaching. Go ahead, Natasha.
Thanks, Queen. So my question is just, and as it relates to like when you're scripting and you write a person's like particular name, maybe like, you want them to do something or whatever, but like writing it and being that specific as it relates to like their free will and what they would do otherwise. How does that work with like writing their specific name and not wanting to like affect what they would ultimately be doing?
I'm sorry, I was over here talking to me. Do you mean like if you wanted someone to, let's see, go to college or something like that?
Yeah, let's say, you're right. Yeah, anything like specific. Yeah.
Like if you wanted them to go to college, but that's not their choice, it's yours.
But right, yeah, let's say you say, I want this person to go to college, but like, how do you, or I guess like, yeah, how does that relate in terms of like being specific, but also trying not to like get in the way of their own free will?
So I would say to script specifically, not what you want for them, I would say that you can script that they are choosing their divine right path and that they are divinely guided to choose their right and perfect path. This way, it's not you stepping into their, into their alignment or into their path, sort of say. Does that make sense? Okay. Because yeah, you can script like, I give thanks that this person is getting a great education, something like that. And we're still using that college, not to say that that's what you want to script for, but you can say, I give thanks that this person is getting a great education. That education can come from the military. It can come from a trade. It can come from on-the-job training. It doesn't have to be from college. What is it that you would like the person to get out of what you're trying to put them into? You can start with something like that, but you don't have to be too specific with their life because you also don't want to step in and interfere with, you don't want to be that divine interference either. But long as it's good stuff, that's fine. But the minute, if someone's practicing like black magic or whatever they want to call it, woo-woo, against someone, then no, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? So if it's something good, I give thanks that they're divinely guided to their right and perfect home that they're supposed to be in, or they're divinely guided to the right and perfect educational institution for that matter. things like that.
Perfect. Yes.
And how that makes them feel when they get there. You can embellish on that too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And always think of the essence too. Remember what Soraya was saying. Don't get so caught up on the thing. Think of the essence. You know, like she said, the essence of it is you want them to be to move into their divinely guided path. You know, and whatever that is, and may they be able to grow and expand and have resources and have the network, whatever comes with the college life. Instead of saying college, whatever. And Dee Dee asked if you are always, thank you, Natasha, first of all. I didn't want to jump too fast from that. Thank you. I hope that was helpful. And Dee Dee says, if you are always in gratitude, how do you explain that you are a vibrational match for things undesired? And Dee Dee, can you ask it again in a different kind of way? I may be reading it wrong. That may be my fault, but just ask it again in a different kind of way. In the meantime, I'm going to unmute you, John, if I can find you, or if you can unmute yourself. I think you may have the capacity to do so. Here we go.
Hello?
Okay, yes.
Yes. Good evening. I'm going to be very short because everyone has so many great testimonies and questions for Soraya. But yeah, I just wanted to speak a little bit about how scripting has changed my life since I've started it. Basically, since I've met Soraya. And I had an opportunity to just pretty much watch how it works in her life and just kind of watching how things were manifesting. And me coming from a background of, my family was hard work. If you work hard enough, you can get whatever you want. And, that's just how it was for my side. However, before I really could kind of look back at everything that was going on, I didn't really realize that it was definitely taking a toll on us mentally, like, really stressing ourselves out about things that may not have really even been for us. So basically, once we started dating or whatever, I really began to watch things manifest in her life. And so I started scripting myself. And one of the main things that really I really had to understand, and which I did, was in order to script, and this is for me, in order to script, I really had to have a solid relationship with God or source, because I had to really think about how can I really script for something if I don't understand what God has, the path that God has for me. So, and it was almost like, once I started scripting, when I scripted things, it was almost like it was cementing the things that I wanted in my life. So as I wrote, it really did help me build my faith in source. So once I signed at the end, it was like, oh, well, it's already done now. Like I really don't have to, all I had to do is just kind of like live in it and live in everything that I just wrote. And another thing I had to really pay attention to was just not to be so specific, because, if I was scripting for a specific job, like I wanted to work at this particular place, I would get it. I wouldn't really understand. At first, I really wouldn't understand, well, why didn't I get that job? But then I had to really think about it. Well, I did get a job that I liked. It just wasn't that one, so I had to really focus on not being specific. And the last thing that I wanted to mention was, a big thing that I had to, because I don't script all the time now, but a big thing that I had to do was try not to wait to the last minute to script about something. Because every time I did that, it was almost like, God is already, working things out in divine order anyway, but it's like, oh man, I waited to the last minute again, hey God, it's me. It's me again. I know you know why I'm here. Just trying to script this back on in there, but God already, he's already aligned with the things and, with my path and, his will and my purpose. So and then the last thing that I wanted to add, sorry, I don't want to hold you all, is basically my actual testimony of when we actually were dating and we were thinking, she was thinking about moving up to Baltimore and I was looking for the home and stuff like that. And we had these specific things that we were looking for, and this area that was like really good for children and stuff like that, and it was very safe. And so, you know, we're looking, and we just keep seeing these things. And it was like either the price was outrageous or, you know, they didn't have that one thing that I didn't want, or maybe she didn't want. So, you know, I decided to, you know, kind of take a step back and just look further in Baltimore, you know, where we reside now. And when I looked over there, the first house I saw, it looked very nice. You know, it had everything that she wanted, everything that I wanted, and we were script. I like to think that my script, you know, did this, but you know, it was probably her, but whatever. So, I, you know, I contacted them about the home, and they were saying that it was already a contract down. So I'm like, dang man, what am I gonna do? So it wound up being that the realtor was actually trying to get that person out of the contract, and asked my realtor to do it to help. So that was one hurdle that I didn't even have to even cross myself, you know, because we're just, you know, we're scripting. We're just doing everything that we're supposed to be doing and letting the divine power of scripting work. And then there was another thing. The other hurdle that we had to cross was my lease for my apartment didn't end until September. Now, mind you, no, November, I'm sorry. Mind you, it was June, July. So now I'm thinking, okay, man, I got to get this house. You know, my work hard. If you work hard, you'll get it. I have to go ahead and make this money so I can break my lease and be ready. Long story short, so we get closer and closer. They finally get the lady out of the lease. I mean, out of the contract. And come to find out, it was actually a rent to own situation. So the lease was actually ended in November, the same time my lease ended. So instead of me having to do all of this extra stress and working hard, literally all I had to do was just live my life and you know, let the scripting and God do everything else. So everything worked out like within 7 days. And that's basically my testimony on scripting. So that, you know, if you're really on the fence about anything with it, I'm telling you right now, this is definitely a tremendous tool that has been added, you know, to manifesting for me in my life and my family.
Whoa, thank you for sharing, John. Wow. I mean, and I'm sure if we go, you know, it's so many that can testify to scripting. We've been doing it for years, you know, we've been doing it with the new moon and full moon for years. We do it in different ways. I'm gonna take a couple more people because our time is winding down. But I give thanks for the testimonies as well as the jewels that Saraya has dropped this evening. And I hope that it really heightens your scripting practices. I really pray that. And Didi, I unmuted you, sis. After Didi, Letitia, after you, I'm gonna bring you in. Go ahead, and Didi.
Hi. So what I was trying to ask is, assuming that you are feeling as if you're in a high vibration and you're in this vibration of gratitude, how do you explain the things in your life and your physical presence that you don't desire?
When you say how do you explain them, what do you mean?
What's the explanation for it? Like how does that, like, when you said that, okay, people are telling you that you always seem like you're on this vibe of positivity and so if that's the case, because as a human being you're still gonna, you know, kind of wonder, like, how do you explain the undesired thing in your life that you're trying not to focus on? that it's even present there, because even that is a vibrational match to you. Correct?
It is, and somebody's gonna come to the door. How do you open the door for me? So she's at it. I can hear her. How do you
if you're generally in gratitude,
I
which
don't
is a
generally explain it, NDD. I don't talk about, I'm gonna be honest, I don't necessarily talk about the things that I'm going through that are not a vibrational match to what I desire in my life. If I just and it's a big difference because you have friends and you have family and you have all of these different people that you think, okay, they're there for me, you know, they I can tell them about what I'm going through, and you know, I don't really do that. I'm just answering the question. I see Ross Kofi says, you know, may I give an example? Great question. If I want to talk something through, it has become kind of a habit for me to maybe talk about it, but all throughout I'm like giving thanks. But you know, I know that it's something that, you know, I'm always kind of redirecting myself. It's become like a habit for me.
Don't you ever think to yourself, how did I even attract this?
Yes. Sometimes I obsess about that, you know, like, because I want to make sure like that I'm on point, and that's more so what it is. But you know what, Ndidi, I began to stop really doing it in that way, thinking about it in that way, because I found myself going hard on myself about it, and like more so looking at it like fault, and that's not what it's for. That's not to see who's at fault. It doesn't matter, because it's all in divine order and it's all there to teach you something. But I do petition the creator to be revealed the lesson in it for sure, you know, and I just put that in my prayers. I always have that in my prayers. May I be able may lessons be revealed to me with ease in all situations. May the lesson, so as I'm in the situation, it still honestly feels like a blessing. Doesn't matter how intense it is. I'm telling you, it's something I'm dealing with right now that I don't desire to talk it through or tell anybody about it, because I know it's in divine order and I can see it. I can see it and I can feel it in divine order. And oftentimes people don't understand it like that. And they, you know, they can't really meet you where you are with the vibration. So it's no point for me, because I always strive to stay at a high vibration, because if I truly know that everything is always working out for me, if I truly know that, then there's not this holding on to the stress about it, like, what, how the, whoa. But yes, indeed, surely some situations kind of take me aback for real. Like, I'm like, wow, really? That's just how it's gonna turn out. But I say, whoa, Lord, you know, just give me strength, make it easy for me. Remember my prayer, when I say make it easy for me, I mean, let my ego get out of this, take my ego out of this, so that I can be open to be able to receive. And every single time I bear witness that something unfolds, whether it's right then and there or somewhere down the line, it's like, aha. And that unfolding is so sweet. It's so sweet. But I just got to get through those feelings about it, the disappointment, the sadness, the what the heck, the beating up, you know. I just am continuing to train myself to not go down that route. I reject it, actually. My body, my mind, everything rejects it. It rejects sadness from myself, from other people. Like it's hard for me to sit and listen to someone who is sad, someone who is angry. It's hard for me to just let it happen, like just let them talk. It's very difficult for me because my spirit rejects it. Because when you're vibing on a high frequency, it's gonna reject it like that. It's not to judge anyone or anything like that. It's just that it just is what it is. So I'm gonna be that one. Anybody who knows me closely know I'm gonna be the one to be trying to push you over the edge to get to the optimism, to get to the, you know, the release, the allowance, the love, the gratitude. I'm gonna push you to do that. And so our goal, let's just remind each other. I mean, let me remind us that our goal is not to move away or void out or cancel all push and pull in our experience. because it's from the push and the expanding and the all of that we grow. Our goal should be for when we go through those things, we go through it in a more blissful, more grateful, more lighthearted way, where it's not just totally running us down. A situation I'm dealing with right now, probably the average person would be distraught or like totally thrown for a loop or totally like whatever. And as a matter of fact, as I'm dealing with the situation with the different people that's involved in it, that have to be involved in it, they're almost looking at me like I'm crazy. Like something's really wrong with her. Like she's not, like she's literally not like, they're like, what? Like they can't really understand it. Like I can tell from their face because my face is kind of like, yeah, and it's all in divine order and everything it's gonna work itself out. And they're looking at, okay, well, sorry about that. And they're ready to be sad and bloated about it. And I understand because if it happened to the average person, they would do that. But that's why, oh my God, it's gorgeous. That's why I shouldn't have looked over there. But so I hope I answered your question. I hope I answered your question. And we're running out of time, Kofi. So I didn't want to expand on it, but I do hope I answered your question indeed.
Yeah.
Give thanks.
Kofi, you can answer me in the chat.
And Letitia, I'm gonna get you because I promised, and then we're gonna go ahead and close up in a second with Soraya. I'm gonna let Soraya close us out. In the meantime,
okay, so this is...
I got my. If y'all see me looking around, I have someone in here who y'all see these. Give me the other one. Give me the other one. Y'all see this? Now this is a manifestation I was happy about. Shuck it. Oh, she's bearing gifts. She gave me, look, custom made pillows, y'all, for my new crib. When I say I'm trying to live life opulently, you got to stick your face in here because I'm going to shout you out and give everybody your information. Sis does custom made. I was supposed to be finishing y'all, and she was dropping my pillows off. But she made pillows for my couches. Y'all see this? Y'all can't say this ain't bomb. Krista, I know you over there like, what? Oh my God. I am in love with my pillows. She made several of them, but I'm gonna keep sharing. Anyway, I just had to say that because she just dropped one down and I just became obsessed immediately. All right, Letitia, go ahead. You I think I'm unmuting you. I pray I am.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, Crystal said, no, you literally manifested that. I did, didn't I? I was talking about these pillows forever. Oh, I love them.
So my question is
in person, Crystal. Go ahead, Letitia.
So it's a technical question, a practicality question, I guess. So I actually have an issue with writing. So my mind is flowing, everything's going, and then my hand will get tired. And I'm trying to not say it in like a negative way, focusing on the end of the stick, but I just get tired of writing. I don't want to write. So it's like, can you type, or is there more power behind the writing? That's kind of the technicality of the question. Like, is that like a sign that I should just stop writing? I love talking and I do voice journals, and that's easier for me. So that's kind of the question. Maybe you or Soraya can answer that.
I'm going to let Soraya answer. I'm unmuting you, Soraya.
Okay. Usually, yes, it is good for you to write. I haven't come across anybody with that problem before. So if the voice journals resonate with you, I would say go for it if that's what resonates with you. But usually, yes, it is the writing. Sometimes if you feel like you're writing and you're getting stuck, you can kind of work your way out of it by just doing some affirmations and gratitude around the situation, and it'll still work just as easy as, if you were writing out a whole story that day too.
Okay. Did that help, Letitia?
You are welcome. You're welcome. I had something for Ndidi too, is that when those situations come at you, you can script those away as well. Like say, you know, someone ran over your mailbox or something like that. You can easily script that even though my mailbox was run over, I give thanks that it is now replaced with the right and perfect mailbox that is indestructible and at a price that I can easily afford. So even when like you're going through things or you feel like, whoa, where did that come from? You can always start your scripting sentence out with, even though this, and then come back and say, even though this doesn't, you know, resonate with me, or this doesn't feel good, or whatever, whatever have you, you can always go back and say, but I give thanks that such and such and such and such is now happening, moving you forward.
Thanks.
And even if it hasn't been replaced, you still script it out because it will.
Beautiful. Okay. I'm just reading the chat. I think like you are, Saraya.
You're welcome.
After scripting, would you recommend reading out loud? After scripting, would you recommend reading out loud?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Some people do visualizations afterwards. They do like a visualization meditation where they visualize themselves doing the things that they just wrote. Or, you know, if they script about someone else, they visualize that person in success or whatever have you. Some people meditate on what they've scripted out. And then some people just let it go and wait for it to happen.
Right. Robin said, you are amazing, Saraya. I have learned so much. Yes. Ashe. Shout out to the trap. Y'all make sure y'all spread the word about Oyun Ministries and all the resources that you get. This is the dream. Like, this is the vision. You know, my vision, I hardly talk a lot about it, but the vision that I have had is to take my Southern Baptist Christian background, take the positive influence from it, and establish something that is resonant for individuals who are used to having a ministry, used to having something that they are indulging in, but making it a little, I won't say richer, but rich, because I don't want to put judgment and weigh in it, but something rich where we talk about God, but we also talk about practical ways of accessing God, or tuning in, or keeping our relationship strong, or using what we've been given, our mind, our words, our voice, and all of those different things to be co-creators with God, you know, not to be just these like meek, humble little, oh, please, Lord. No, it's like we have all that life force energy is within us. So utilizing our minds, utilizing our vision, utilizing our emotions, getting in tune with our emotions, understanding our emotions, being a good governor and authority of ourselves, our mind, our words, all of those different things. It's just that's been the goal of the ministry. And so I'm grateful to have Saraya on. Maybe I can get the other Saraya to come on one day. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay. But I have for a minute promised, or at least emphasized, that I wanted to have special guests. We had the Brother Luke one first as our first special guest, and Saraya is our second one. And I pray to have much more that are quite powerful. I gained a lot from this, Saraya. So I thank you for coming on tonight. And this is recorded, so everybody on here will get a replay. Saraya, I'm going to send you the replay link as well, so you can share it with whomever you desire to share it with. For those who watching as a replay, and you're not a part of the ministry, you can learn more about that at queenyin.com. Or for those who are Saraya guests as well, you can learn more about the ministry and the membership option at queenyin.com under the join tab. You can learn more about that. So I don't have we've got to have a follow-up session, clearly, because I think we still have many more questions and many more, much more to talk through. So prayerfully, Saraya, we can have you back on. I want you to voice your contact information. And y'all, listen, great investment to get your session Try to get it, Soraya. I don't mean to get you busy, but you're about to get busy.
Oh,
Try to get try to get it before winter solstice, maybe. I don't know, it's last minute, but definitely before the end of 2020. Get your private sessions with Soraya. It's going to be highly beneficial for you. So, Soraya, just voice your contact information and how people can contact you and what you are available for.
okay. I'm at Instagram. It is at self_centered, all lowercase, 1111. And the link to book is in the bio. And I do chakra healing, I do Reiki, I do scripting sessions. If you're in the DMV area, of course, oh wait, it's 1111. I put it in the chat already. Yeah, I'll put it again right before I log off, but you're good. But you're fine. I'll put it in there. But I do chakra healing. I have, a tremendous space that you feel comfortable in, Reiki, and, my scripting sessions is what I'm known for. But if you're in a DMV area and you want any physical sessions, you can book through there with the scripting sessions because I am from Atlanta. I get a lot of people from Atlanta. So I can do video chat or phone chat, whatever makes you comfortable. Or if you're in the area or you want to take a trip, I will be here waiting for you. If you want to get that travel in, I'm here. And if you can book, it doesn't have to be, if you can book before January the 1st, I'll give you $10 off. Even if your session is on March 23rd, if it's booked by January the 1st, you'll have $10 off. It's usually $75 for an hour, so you'll get it for $65. And if you go over that hour, we work something out from there, but it's usually $75 for an hour. And my lovely fiance is dropping all of my contact information in the chat.
Hey, teamwork made a dream work. Black, hashtag black love, hashtag black love. I love it. I love it.
That is count to you guys. Book before January the 1st. Please, please, please. I'm here for you. I'm here to see you win. As Crystal know, after we do the sessions, I always check in. So how y'all doing? I mean, when the pandemic hit, I was like, so what we need to work on? It looks like it's gonna be a different type of year. So what's up? What you want to get? And I always check in on you guys. I don't care if I reach 100 people. I'm still gonna be sitting here like, all right, well, how's it going? Because it brings me joy to help you guys see you win. I get excited. So
yeah, that's how it is. So thank you for your work, Soraya. Thank you for your light. It's so beautiful. I'm so grateful to be in alignment with you. And I just want to end by saying for Tribe, I really appreciate you all being a part of my dream. Welcome to my dream. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Like, I really reflect often on my journey. I started as a very passionate teacher in the classroom, and quickly realized that was not it. Then I moved from that to leadership in education, and I was the rebel teacher. So I was not only in leadership, but I was an advocate. I was in the community. This is the type of stuff I was living, but I was not happy. I was not at peace. I was very stressed out. I was very getting turned around. And once I started this spiritual journey for my own healing, that love for teaching and that love for my fellow man or for people turned into this work. And so now to have you all as a tribe or as a congregation or as a group, a spiritual group, is so amazing for me to witness as well as be a part of. So I want to say thank you all for hanging in there. Thank you for treating this like a ministry and not just a temporary fix, because it's a lot of energy that's put into what's offered in the ministry. And I know that you all put a lot of energy in being a member, because it takes work. You have to you want to tune in. You got to stay engaged. You want to support financially. You support energetically. You support by sharing your family. Many of you all share your families with us. We know your children. We've seen your children. We loved on your children. And so all of that is very valuable for me, and I take it very seriously. And I want to say this: if you ever find yourself in a space where you are feeling from. Thank you, Soraya. I love you. I will see you soon. I'm speaking that into existence. If you find yourself where you're experiencing something within this space that is challenging for you, or you're feeling like you maybe not growing, or you feeling stuck, or you feeling like that, please, y'all, please, please, please utilize the tools. Get you some sessions, get a clearing, call me, come out, just do something, but don't give up. It's time for us not to keep running, because we keep doing that. We run from relationships, we run from jobs, we run from ministries, we run from sister groups, don't run. Because what's undeniable about this ministry, and it has nothing to do with me as a physical person, what's undeniable is the power and the knowledge that we always experience. And that's a blessing. That is not an always thing with it, just anything. That's a blessing. That's a testament to you all's desires, your prayers, your efforts, as well as the people who facilitate it. So I just want to say that that was on my spirit, and I wanted to share it with everybody. I view this as a ministry. And as a Southern Baptist Christian little girl, we didn't run off to the next church. We went and talked to the pastor first. That's just not how it went. We also didn't just, we respected the privacy of our fellow members in the church. We respected the privacy. We also had counsel if there's an issue. We treated it like family. I'm a Southern Baptist Christian girl. That's just how we did. And I grew up in a small church, not one of the big churches on Instagram. It was a small church. Everybody knew the names. I had 5 or 6 mothers on the motherboard who wanted to see my report card, and 5 or 6 deacons who wanted to see it as well. And I had 6 or 7 mamas and babas who would get in that tail if needed. So that was my experience in church. I didn't throw away those things. There's some things I threw away, but those things I brought with me, and that's how I see the ministry. And it will continue to grow in that manner. If you're here for the long run, that's what you expect. It's growing and growing. It's not, it never stays the same. As y'all know, the teachings are growing. As I grow, the teachings are growing. So, I just ask that you all consider that this is something that's a blessing, and it's not just a service. It's not something that, well, this ain't working, let me go to the next, like that. Am I saying that if you really feel like this space is just not it for you, if you don't, no, of course, my philosophy is you go with what's in balance with you. But I'm saying that before, if there's a problem, there's an issue, please try out the resources of the ministry. We have the chat room. Lastly, let me say, I'm glad I thought about it. If you're not in the chat room and you want to be, pardon me if you sent me my number, you're not in there, but send it to me again, y'all. Email it to me, text it to me, put it in this direct message, and I'll put you on right now, because that chat room is lit always. There's a lot of support there. There's a lot of information, education, love, and light always flowing through. Y'all be on it. 222 hit. You definitely gonna get something. 444 hit. 111 hit. New moon. Everything. We gonna keep each other accountable and keep each other in alignment. So, thank y'all for hanging out tonight. Thank you, Scripting Soraya, and thank you, my big sister Soraya. I can't wait to see you again soon. Thank you so much for all of Scripting Soraya's guests who tuned in tonight. And yeah, y'all book that session with Soraya. And don't forget, Winter Solstice Meditation is Monday, y'all. So make sure y'all show up, tribe, show up and show out, represent, and then tell your friends and family about it. I did make it free of charge, so nobody won't let that get in their way. Of course, love offerings are welcome. But definitely tune in, because we are going to, boy, if I got anything to do with it, we are to utilize this winter solstice to experience some rebirth in our lives, our family lives, our friend lives. That should be the intention. We are not going into this new season with this stale vibration. That's not what we're doing. We're going into it with a high vibe. We're going soaring above the pandemic, above the politics, above the lack, above all of that. What people can't deny it, every knee shall bow and tongue shall confess. And it only does that through the light that we shine. And so that is the goal. When that sun rises on the 25th, when that sun is born within us, when that solar plexus beams out of our chest, it's gonna be an impact for everybody around us. That's where I'm at with it. So y'all know it's gonna be lit. If I'm already on that tip, and it's just the 16th, we ain't even hit the 25th yet. So you already know. Y'all might see something glowing out of my chest on the 25th. I don't know what's gonna happen, you know. I'm ready for it all, you know, whatever it is. I might levitate that day, whatever it may be. But that's the goal. If I levitate, I want you to levitate with me. So we just levitate together. So we tell everybody about it. Get it deep. Tell everybody about it. Tell them, don't worry about what it is, just tune in. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to understand it. Don't think you don't know. You can't. Just tune in. Tell everybody about it. They can register for it on Eventbrite. All right, y'all, I'm done. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. All my families and mamas online, kiss all the babies for me and tell them Queen Yen said good night so I can get some of that baby love over this way. All right, y'all. See y'all on Monday, if not before Monday. Peace.